super exclusive. The undeniable Pakistan link is out in the open, and Dr. Muzafar-Mohammed Rathod, the Pakistan man, has been unmasked. And we see that Muzaffar is the brother of terrorist Dr. Adil. Muzaffar was in touch with Pakistani handler in Afghanistan. Umar was directed to carry out the attack by Muzaffar. Muzaffar was coordinating with the terror module from Dubai after terror Dr. Adil's arrest. He moved to Afghanistan. Okay, so we are getting these updates coming in because the focus right now has changed to the key players, the key conspirators. The investigation agencies are making sure that they get every detail. So on your screen is a Republic super exclusive, the undeniable Pakistan link, which is out. Dr. Muzafar-Mohammed, the Pakistan man, has been unmasked. He's a brother of terrorist Dr. Adil. All these are the terrorist doctors which are being investigated. Now, Muzaffar was in touch with Pakistani handler in Afghanistan. Umar was directed to carry out the attacks by Muzaffar. So, Umar was directed, the terrorist bomber was directed to carry out the attack by Muzaffar. This is the picture of Muzaffar on your screen. He is one of the conspirators, the Red Fort blast conspirators. Muzaffar was coordinating with a terror module from Dubai, and after terror Dr. Adil's arrest, he moved to Afghanistan. So we're getting these updates coming in on Republic TV because finally on your screen are the conspirators. Let's go to Shravan, our senior editor joining us. Shravan, if you could take our viewers through the latest coming in, and Dr. Muzafar-Mohammed, the brother of the terrorist, one of the key conspirators, what else do we know about him?
Well, in fact, Republic TV getting the undeniable Pakistan link. A new character has basically emerged in this entire investigation that has been carried out so far. And let me just tell our viewers right now that he was on the radar of the investigative agencies from the very time that the first cleric was actually arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police. In fact, had it not been for the Jammu and Kashmir police, remember, the plan was to basically carry out serial bombings in the national capital in the month of December. The plan was much more larger than what has really come up with the bomb blast that took place in the national capital on 10th of November was something that was done in a hurried manner. But the real picture is this. The new character that has emerged, his name is Dr. Muzafar-Mohammed Rathod. He happens to be the brother of Dr. Adil, who was taken into custody by the Jammu and Kashmir police. Now, who exactly is this man? It seems he was the one who was directly running this entire doctor module. It was Muzaffar Rathod, brother of Dr. Adil, who was basically running this entire operation. Let me first take you through the details of it, and then I'll go across to our reporters. Republic Newsbreak now being confirmed by top security agencies. In fact, Muzaffar, the brother of terrorist Dr. Adil, was the one who was coordinating with the doctor module here. The meetings that were actually taking place, we do now have a confirmation, if we can break this right now. It was Muzaffar who had taken Dr. Muzammil to Turkey. In fact, the meeting took place in Istanbul in the year 2022. Now, remember, that is the time from when this is being worked upon. In fact, they had a larger plan in place. Of course, Jaish finally expedited all of this as an operation, as a revenge of Operation Sindoor. In fact, the meeting that took place was in 2022. Muzaffar and Dr. Muzammil met Pakistani handler Ukasha. Ukasha happens to be the handler that they met in Istanbul. If you can put out the name there, Ukasha is the Pakistani handler that Dr. Muzammil met in Istanbul. In fact, there were also plans of another meeting to take place in Afghanistan. However, that did not really materialize. It turns out that it was Muzaffar who had actually instructed Omar to carry out this entire attack when Adil was taken into custody. So it was Omar who was getting direct instructions coming in from Muzaffar. And in fact, after Adil was actually arrested, it was Muzaffar who had basically moved to Afghanistan. So it's very clear with respect to what has basically transpired as to who exactly was giving the instructions. Let me just quickly recap for all our viewers who are tuning in right now. Who exactly is this new character that has emerged in the investigation? On your screens right now, for the first time, we are putting out pictures of Muzafar Rater, brother of Dr. Adil. Dr. Adil, a close associate of the main accused in this particular case, that is Dr. Muzammil. In fact, back in 2022 itself, they had meetings in Turkey. The plan was to come up with a new outfit altogether. And this was expedited by Jaish. Following Operation Sindoor, this was largely seen as a revenge to Operation Sindoor when there were precision strikes that was carried out against Jaish-e-Mohammed at the headquarters in Bahawalpur. In fact, following this meeting that took place, it was Muzafar who had taken Muzammil thereafter for a meeting that took place in Afghanistan. Following which, when Adil was taken into custody by the Jammu and Kashmir police, we are given to understand that instructions were basically being given by Muzaffar to Omar. This entire module, the doctor module, was actually being run from Dubai. That's the other breaking news now coming in, that this entire terror doctor module was basically being carried out, was being handled by Muzaffar, who was already out of India. In fact, following the arrest of Dr. Adil, we are given to understand that he had moved to Afghanistan. They had plans of carrying out serial bombings in the national capital. In fact, we are also picking up right now in terms of logistics. It was a cleric in Mewat who was given this entire job to ensure that these two houses where we are given to understand the explosives were essentially stored. And this was being stored for the last 2 years. It turns out for the last 2 years, they have been amassing this entire weaponry, this entire ammunition. They were amassing this over a period of time in order to avoid the gaze of the security agencies. For the first time, a new character in this entire terror module has now been exposed. As far as the Pakistani link is concerned, Ukasha is the Pakistani handler with whom a meeting actually took place. There is a meeting that has happened in Afghanistan. There is a meeting that has happened in Turkey. And of course, remember, with the Pakistani handlers finding it far more easier to basically carry out this entire operation when they are in countries, in friendly countries with India, particularly, no one would have raised, a concern if Adil's brother was actually in Afghanistan. Let me also try and get across to our reporters on the ground while we stay full frame with these images coming in. I want to first go across to Arawat, who's joining us on this broadcast. Arawat, I spoke to a top source of mine within the security agencies a short while ago, and I've got a confirmation with regards to Muzafar Rater, who happens to be the brother of Dr. Adil. And it turns out that there was a meeting that took place in Turkey, in Afghanistan, and this entire terror doctor module was being run from Dubai. What more details are you picking up in terms of this module, their operations, and how the overground workers were essentially helping them?
And Muzammil has went to Turkey and they have met the handler there, and then after they have added more people into it, and we have seen that the Jammu and Kashmir police and other security agencies have reached almost to these handlers, and also we have seen across the Kashmir Valley the raids are going on, and also we have seen that there are dozens of the people who have been questioned by the various organizations within the Jammu and Kashmir police, and also we have seen that the Muzaffar and Muzammil they went to Turkey and they have also met the handlers there. In fact, they have had the physical meeting there. Also, they have exchanged the thoughts with each other, and they have decided the further strategy there. And then after we have seen, they went back to India, and also they have discussed the same strategy with other members here. In fact, the Jammu and Kashmir police and Delhi police is also investigating the whole matter, and also we have seen that the multiple raids are being underway from the North Kashmir, Central Kashmir, and the South Kashmir, which are taking place. And also we have seen that the senior police officers are continuously monitoring the happening, and also we have seen some electronic gadgets, including the laptop and mobile phones, and some pen drives have also been accessed by the Jammu and Kashmir police. and the investigation is going on right now. Sharon, also we have seen that the operation which started days back in Kashmir Valley is still underway. Also, we have seen some more doctors have been detained in the Kashmir Valley, and also the questioning is going on from the North Kashmir, Central Kashmir, and the South Kashmir. Also, we have seen that the new connection has surfaced of the Muzammil. Now that too are being verified, and the links are also being verified by the various security agencies within the Jammu and Kashmir. Yes.
Rawat, I'll request you to stay on with us while we get more details on this. Shambhavi, in fact, is my colleague who's there in the national capital outside the mosque. This is